This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Trailer Reaction. Don't mind the mess in back of me. I'm doing a little renovation of the space. Though, speaking of renovations, earlier today a trailer was dropped for Lana Wachowski's The Matrix Resurrections, and that was a mouthful. I could barely say that. Though, I wanted to talk about this for a minute before even looking at the trailer, because I've got some problems with it. I should say less problems than questions about this. Okay, I have to begin at the beginning of where they first started to appear on people's radar, which was 1996 Bound. A movie I haven't seen, but it seems to have gotten decent notices, though their big break came in 1999 with The Matrix, a brilliant movie, a clever movie, a philosophical movie that manages to be introspective without being navel-gazy. It's a really clever movie. Though, and this is just my own feeling on it, they went for the money with its follow-ups. 2003's The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions in the same year. I assume they were shot at the same time. In any case, they were money grabs. And while the original Matrix was interesting, these movies were clunky, and they wore their philosophies on their shoulders. They had their pleasures, to be sure, but something was lost along the way. It just didn't quite sink. And what follows is a career of misfires. 2012's Cloud Atlas, 2015's Jupiter Ascending, 2008's Speed Racer. All misfires for varied reasons. If you've seen those movies, you get it. They're ambitious, to be sure. Ambitious to a fault, in fact. But the Wachowskis seem to have reached the end of their creative powers. They don't have a lot to say, in other words. Big spectacle, big effects, with nothing to talk about. Which is the opposite of the original Matrix. Which is to say, interesting story, lots to say, great effects. Everything after that, I would argue, you get rid of having anything to say. It's trying to do things, but you don't have any real reason to do them. And they've actually been pretty prolific, that being said. But their movies, in terms of having any appreciable goal, started to decline. Precipitously, in fact. And that brings us to 2021, with the release of the trailer for The Matrix Resurrections. I can't stand these titles. In any case, notice something about this movie. It was directed by Lana Wachowski. Where's Lily? Every one of their movies have been directed as a duo. Both sisters have directed all their movies, except for The Matrix Resurrections. Why is that? Something has clearly happened. Now, does that mean that they're not in sync on these matters anymore? I don't know. Does it mean that they've reached a creative impasse and decided to separate for this movie? I don't know. I have no idea why it's happened. Though something has definitely happened. And this too will have an effect on the movie. For good or ill, I have no idea. In any case, let's look at the trailer for The Matrix Resurrections. Ugh, it's such a mouthful.
Thomas? You seem particularly triggered right now. Can you tell me what happened?
Triggered's not a bad word to use in this context.
crazy. We don't use that word in
He's so
here.
wooden. Am I crazy?
Hi.
White Rabbit.
Have we met?
Grace Slick is such a fucking goddess. Oh god, she's incredible.
Makes you small, and the ones that mother gives you don't do anything at all.
Interesting emphasis on being drugged.
When she's 10 feet tall.
Time to fly.
And if you chasing rabbits,
If you want the truth,
Medicated.
Neo, you're going to have to follow me.
and you know you're going to fall.
The only thing that matters to you is still here. I know it's why you're still fighting and why you will never give up. You don't know me. No?
Oddly enough, it's looking very Jupiter Ascending.
After all these years, to be going back to where it all started. Back to the Matrix.
Who is he? Looks like he should be familiar. That was the trailer for The Matrix Resurrections, and it's interesting to me, namely because it evokes the first movie, which frankly I think was the only one worth making, and it does so in a way that implies that Neo is lost. He's somehow lost connection with himself, and so he's having to seek it back to reestablish who he once was, which is interesting. I tend not to be a fan of movies that are repetitious for the sake of repetitious, which is like, that made money, let's do whatever that was again. This seems to be repetitious. Well, repetitious is probably not the right word. It seems to be evoking the first movie because Neo is seeking that which he's lost, which is interesting. And I gotta admit, got a kind of a chill from it. It seems to work better, at least the trailer works better than anything I could have anticipated from it. I want to see this. I'm still not enthused about Warner Brothers' model, distribution model, that is, which is to say, releasing on HBO Max and in theaters. I think it's a terrible distribution model, and it's going to kill returns for this movie, just like it's going to kill returns for Dune, just like it killed returns for The Suicide Squad. Though, what do you think? This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Trailer to Reaction. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. And as usual, consider a like or follow. Peace.